Okay, so welcome to Journeys from Lagos to Brooklyn. And before we get started, I just want to make sure that everybody remembers where are we streaming from?
Amarachi Restaurant.
And where is Amarachi?
Brooklyn, New York, baby.
Trendy Brooklyn, not just Brooklyn.
Trendy Brooklyn.
On the heart of the Manhattan Bridge. And today we got our first guest having their dinner. They're here too for the show, which is exciting.
Baby.
Indoor dining. Only 25% room occupancy, so make your reservation and get here soon. We also have an exciting guest who is going to be our first remote guest.
Yes. He's so big, we couldn't fit him on this stage.
I know. And I have to tell you, I listened to his music all the way here.
Phenomenal.
So today our guest is Eric Roberson. He is the king of independent soul and R&B.
Nice.
Right, so he's our guest star.
Absolutely.
And we're doing something a little different today, which I'm excited about. We've got a little cocktails for, well, you can't call guys drinks cocktails. So you got beer, right?
A little shameless promo today. Well, usually I don't promote Amarachi at all.
Guys can't enjoy a cocktail.
Today's a little different.
Does that
well, I mean,
does that reflect on his manhood?
Well,
guys can have a cocktail.
They can, but some of my friends,
I'm having a beer.
He's having a beer.
I don't have hot cocktails.
Well, I'm having a cocktail. We got to start off already?
No, this is called a drink.
All right, good.
That's a cocktail.
I'm having a cocktail.
Nice.
It's pink. What am I having?
It looks great.
I'm having a pink Whitney. I'm not even sure what that is. I'm assuming it's a martini because it's in a martini glass.
Yes, it looks great. And Amarachi always has the wicked libations.
Yes, they do. And I'm also
nice.
I'm going to be eating a little bit. That's why they call me My Hungry World. I love to eat. Can you pronounce for me again what I'm having?
F-O-Riro.
F-O-Riro. So F-O-Riro, shrimp, and plantains. So it's great.
Timothy, what's
Hi, Timothy
up?
Maddox.
Mr. Maddox, what's up? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Stay on with us. We got a great show for you guys today.
We do. So, I'm sorry, I am. Hi, Larry. Hi, Larry, my father's friend. How are you?
So we got what? I gotta behave. We
Well,
Nah, Peter, you gonna be your usual self.
No, you should.
People miss you yesterday.
Actually,
I had nobody to beat up on last week.
Nobody.
It
It was funny how it was so. You were civil. You didn't jump down anybody's throat.
Exactly.
You let people talk.
Let's go.
Oh, okay. So I hear that Mr. Roberson is on standby.
Okay.
So let's
We
just
are
get
not
him
gonna
right
make
in.
him wait.
No,
we're
not.
We're gonna get right to it.
Oh,
What the
I
people
can
want.
see you.
What's up?
Hi, Eric.
What's up, y'all? How y'all?
Oh, we are awesome. You
What's
look
up, brother?
great.
I love the hat.
I do too.
Hey, look! I bought this for you, Bob.
Hey, memories.
That's an HU brother. That's a bison?
Yes. He was-
Hey, you know,
So Eric, Mr. Peter is also a bison, a little bit older than us, but he was there. He was there.
all up.
Me and Eric were both on the 5th floor together
At Drew Hall.
at Drew Hall. Yeah,
Eric, do you have some stories that you can share with
that's
us
not what this show is
about
about.
Bob?
That is not what this show is about.
Plenty. But, I don't know. Look, I'm not trying to get kicked off the show. But, whatever you want to.
It's about you today, not about me.
we got plenty of stories. Man. All love.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I can see you and hear you perfectly. Normally the way we start the show is I like to give the guest the opportunity to kind of answer the huge question, who is Eric Roberson? And then we can just take it from there.
Man, singer, songwriter, independent artist, husband, father, 3 amazing boys. When not during the pandemic, on tour with amazing musician, college professor, all the above, man. As a person who's able to do what he loves for a living, and hopefully inspire others.
Well, that's awesome. I have to tell you that I went on, before we talk about, your music and anything else, I love your sense of humor. I started following you on Instagram, and, late in the show, we usually talk politics, but your video from
last
night's vice president, debate, I was literally on the floor dying. I even left a comment. Totally funny.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, I'm like the rest of the world. I was sitting there. I mean, I was actually walking past the TV screen, and it just was perfect time. And I was like, "This dude has a fly on his head." And then I walk over to the console over here to grab my phone, and it's still there. I was like, "Yo,
it was literally there for 2 minutes."
I was like, "If this works, this is crazy." And I almost like, when I hit the TV, just like slap some sense in them, amen. Like,
you hit it pretty hard.
The whole shelf unit came down in the studio. That's the part that like no one saw. They heard it. It was like, oh snap! I didn't think it through. I just like, it's the opportunity to slap the vice president. Let's do it.
You did a great job. I also have to let you know that I instantly, when I heard, I guess Bub sent me a song, the song that we used for the promo.
Sure.
I can't remember the name, but it spoke to myself as a woman because all I remember, it kept saying that she's beautiful. Yes. She's beautiful over and over again. I love that song.
Well, Eric,
I don't know which one it is, but that's good, and I'm glad it connected with you. You are beautiful, amen. And that's our goal is to uplift. You know what I'm saying?
Eric has made a career out of making wonderful songs about the black woman and black women and HU women. So it was just this is one of the latest songs in his catalog.
Well, there's a lot of inspiration. There's a lot of inspiration on campus, man.
Well,
homecoming.
It's coming
amazing.
Up. It's coming up.
It's amazing.
But Eric, before we get into some things, I thought about Chadwick Boseman, and I thought about your career at Howard as an actor, which a lot of people don't know. You are just as phenomenal an actor as you are a singer. People have never seen that side of you.
Really?
But I just wanted you to give us some of your thoughts about Chadwick and your experience with him, your time with him at Howard and after Howard.
So he was in the School of Fine Arts.
Yes, he was.
Okay.
Yeah, he was I believe a directing major. A phenomenal young man. I think my junior year when he came in, freshman year. What I would tell you, the main thing, what I would tell you is he was very focused, very connected, really loved the arts, truly loved the arts. Most people, if they kind of remember, and this is probably 96 and 97, they're changing the school. They're getting rid of really like fine arts as a whole. They're combining everything to make everything liberal arts. And the students were really, really outraged at and worried that, a lot of the financial backing and support towards the arts in this school was going to disappear. And people don't remember. I don't know if everybody remembers this. The fine arts students, a lot of students in general, but mainly the fine arts students, took over the A building.
Yeah, absolutely.
For like a week.
Absolutely.
And mind you, this has happened. I don't know if it's happened over the last 20 years, but it happened 10 years prior. Before that time. I mean, when the students were outraged, they protest and they take over, and it's a peaceful protest, of course, but they take over the A building. And Chad pretty much was the person that spoke to the representatives school when they took over the A building. That's what I remember. So it's crazy. We were doing
a freshman. He was the leader.
He might have been a sophomore at that point. That was my senior year, but he definitely was the one who was like, if you speaking to us, if you were speaking to those who took over the A building, you were speaking to him.
There was a picture that I saw after his death that came out of him sitting on the floor of the A building after it was taken over, and it brought back memories because I was there 10 years before you guys, and we did the same thing. And so I remember sitting on that floor, and I was like, wow, and it's really started to hit me after his death what quality of brother that was.
Yes.
Yeah, it really hit hard. And honestly, I didn't keep super in touch with him afterwards. Like I said, I was a lot older than him. I left school. I mean, I graduated and he was still there for quite some time. And but always, kept an eye on and just always knew him as to be a very, very solid dude. Just very, very solid. And that was really the fortunate thing about just the theater department, if I just say the fine arts department of Howard University. so much talent. So many people have become huge actors and actresses. When you think of Taraji P. Henson, she was a junior when I got there.
Oh, yeah,
Wow.
I know her because I lived in Columbia, Maryland.
Wow.
Yeah, so to witness, you see them on a big screen, yes, but to see people in that small theater rooms working on their craft, it's a gift. It's a gift to see people's dreams come true, and I think that's really one of the pleasures. The practice room in that basement of fine arts with all the incredible musicians. When you think of Ray Angry, who's played for everybody from the Roots to D'Angelo, amazing keyboard player. You think of Chris Dave, who Mint Condition did a concert at Howard University and heard him play and hired him on the spot. He never came back.
Wow.
When you see all that kind of stuff, man, it's like, it's really powerful. And Chad really just added into that, not just what he did on stage, but how he carried himself off stage. He was just really, really solid.
And I, what hurt me was that I was excited about what, as an actor, what his future held, because he was an amazing actor. I mean, I saw this. Even last week, I saw this movie called 21 Bridges.
21 Bridges.
Oh, yes.
He was just amazing.
The beginning of that movie, if you missed the beginning, you were kind of lost.
I missed the beginning, so don't
You
say
did?
it. Don't say it. How did you know?
No, because that's the kind of beginning of it.
But he was amazing, and walking through Howard, no matter what school, could it be, fine arts, school of business, engineering, communications. There was somebody that walked those halls that was as big as Chad and bigger, and that was the amazing thing about attending Howard.
Yeah, I totally agree. And even if I speak on 21 Bridges, you find out that Chad donated a section of his salary, so that the leading actress could get equal pay. I
read that story.
He was beyond amazing.
Yeah, that goes with his character from what we know.
And when you think about it, I mean, the potential of what he would have played. I mean, I just really rest on the guy played Thurgood Marshall, played James Brown, Jackie Robinson. Yep. I mean, it's astounding how much he got accomplished in such a short amount of time.
Just the characters, even the characters were powerful,
and to do that while suffering from cancer.
Yeah, amazing.
That's just beyond
solid.
I heard stories about when they were in the jungle, him going through all those scenes and would need, he had his masseuse, he had his team around him his team never let out that he was in any type of health crisis. That's the kind of respect
that's a solid dude to assemble that type of quality team. Amazing.
And that loyalty.
Yeah.
But Eric, I don't want to spend the whole show on Chad. It's really about you, but I just wanted people to have a context of the heritage we come from. The time we were at Howard where, Chris Rock, Sean Puffy, Biggie, then we also had Chadwick, we didn't know, but, at the time it was a very, very rich time.
Amazing
for us. And it shaped who we are. Eric was as one of our best friends, was also one of our leaders. He was the first guy to say, listen, I'm going to live a life, where I'm going to shape my own life. I'm not going to allow other people to create the world I'm going to live in.
Awesome.
I'm going to be the guy that shapes my world. And I'm not worried about what it means, because I know it's going to be well. And that's how him evolving as an independent, because he was signed to a major label, but it wasn't really fitting the lifestyle he wanted to create for himself. Mm-hmm. So for him to have the confidence and belief in himself was an inspiration to all of us, even though we were all contemporaries. But it was like, wow, look at us at 18, 19 making these huge decisions.
Did you think he was crazy back then?
Nah, man. Like we were so competitive playing Madden and Spades. Like you reflect back now at the greatness, but it was like that was just the nature. Like of course he's gonna do that. Of course we're gonna support him. Of course, he was shooting movies. He was, so it was like, we know this guy's gonna be it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and just year after year, he continued to rise, and the songs came, and the hits came, and the following, and so it's just been an honor to know him and even just today to be able to bring him on this show.
Nice.
You know, when the truth of the story is when the night I thought of ever opening a place, me and Eric were in my house in Bed-Stuy playing John Madden football.
Oh, really?
Yep.
And I said, yo, E, let's open up a spot. I said, you do the music and I do the bar. And we call it the Blue Room or something crazy. But the concept of Amarachi actually started with me, us.
And that's why it's important to be amongst
great people
with like minds.
Absolutely. So he's always blessed us when we opened up Amarachi in Bed-Stuy. He came with the band. We performed. When we opened up here, same thing. So he's always been a part and parcel. And of course, I can't get him off the salmon. You know that salmon. Everybody's
so you might as well name the meal after me, man. Holla at your boy, man. It's called the Roby salmon. You know what I'm saying?
The Roby salmon.
So Eric, where does that come from? Because that fortitude to kind of do my own thing, regardless of the status quo, I came to me maybe in my 30s. Certainly when you're in academia and you're trying to do the right thing and you're trying to fit into your parents' rules and the rules of the religion, and like most people doesn't have it in them to embark on what you did. Where does that come from?
I got to give a lot of credit to my mom, to be honest with you. I think my junior year, my mother came home from a corporate job and said, I'm not doing it anymore. I remember the day like it was yesterday. Me and my sister looked at each other like, what does that mean? And she wanted to start her own business, and she wanted to go into fashion. And my mom, she made clothes. At that point, she really knew what she was doing, but she realized that, and for not another second was she going to make a living not in her passion, right? And I love that. It was such an impactful moment. I probably now looking back, I started realizing how impactful it navigated where me and my sister went. So of course, when it's time for me to go to college, and I have a scholarship, that I could choose musical theater, and my parents not go, what? And when I look down, and my sister has her own business now. I have my own business now. My mother still is in fashion to this day. And I think a lot of it is from that courage to make it that left moment, I mean, giving up security, giving up insurance, giving up all that stuff. Say, and I'll tell you, man, my dad, like almost immediately went outside and put a for sale sign on his Lincoln Mac 7, white, beautiful, navy blue rag top. He put a for sale sign on it, and it sold the same day. And he went and got a van. He went and got a van to support my mom's job.
That's amazing.
So it wasn't just it was a really impactful thing. That's how it really showed me that I could really, at the end of the day, it's about passion. And I think my mom being in fashion and wardrobing people, a lot of wardrobing people was like, well, what fits you? That lesson of what fits you was huge for me. You know what I'm saying? So it made me question what woman I was dating. It made me question the courses that I was taking, the major I was having. It made me think of what career, because going in a career that doesn't fit you, you're not going to be comfortable in the long run.
That is so true.
So I chose a career that really fit me, and I wanted to be comfortable. I wanted to be challenged. I wanted the career to fit me so I could still make it through the challenges I needed to make through the rest of my life. But if I keep 100, just to touch on it, I was really going to say that I remember Bubby having these dreams. I'm not surprised that he has what he has now. And I think a lot of us during those times were sharing our dreams. And once again, like I said, it's an honor to watch your friends' dreams come true. It's great when things work for you, but it's really great when you can see somebody have a thought and that thought come together.
That's true.
Yeah.
So I
and I must say, just before you start, Eric was always the best dressed. His mother, Jesus Christ, you could compete with this guy.
He was always stylish.
The most stylish person I know. So and it worked for him because as a performer, he had a catalog of clothing. So it's just amazing how your parents play such an important role
Yeah.
in creating your world.
It is, but it's the person too, because I'm sure when I was his age, I heard those words, as long as it fits, or just make it fit, whatever his mother said.
Yeah.
I didn't take it as, it wasn't as impactful on me as it was to him.
Yeah.
So it's kudos to the person, you know.
Yeah.
And once again, if you know Eric's parents, you completely he
You get
is
it.
the embodiment of like the humbleness and focus of his father and the seriousness, business side. His mom, you know, she's like extremely fun, but at the same time, don't mess with her.
Right.
Like,
Don't cross that, right.
She's a black woman.
Don't play.
You know, and his dad is just like the greatest uncle you've ever met. Like, you know,
Nice.
come on now, let's go with some records. You know, let's
Yeah,
go.
it's
You know,
party time.
and Eric just soaks all of that up.
Solid.
You know. So it's but we have some great questions from you
Yeah.
that
I
Donnatella
think-
wants to get to.
But you know, I think that provided great background to see where we're going, and it's fun listening to your stories with the young bub, to know that he must have been a lot of fun and great from way back, and not just now in the last couple of years that I've known him.
Yeah.
Knowing that you all went to Howard, I grew up in Columbia, Maryland, and I did like 1 year at Bowie State, and then I went to a school in Philadelphia. But I want to kind of think about where we are now in this world. Everybody's in the pandemic. And I was listening to what I think are some of your new songs, and some of the lyrics to me spoke to how life has changed. And I don't know when you wrote, I think there's one of the songs or something about Road to Recovery.
Oh yeah.
Was and that one's really upbeat. I love it, and it kind of segues into our first question. And I really wanted to know, given that you're an artist and the pandemic, what has life been like for you during the pandemic? You know, in terms of your creativity. And I noticed you said earlier, you know, you're not an artist that's on the road performing live shows now. So I'm just wondering, how do you see yourself right now?
What's crazy is to be honest with you, I'm busier than I have ever been, and I think that was a surprise for most artists if you choose to allow it to be that way. So creatively, musically, I'm in a great creative place. Probably, you know, not to sound Donald Trump like this is the biggest or whatever, but like I'm like really in like the most creative area I've ever been at. One, because I realized creativity is just nothing but paying attention to material. And right now, while home or just the news and just everything going on, there's so much to talk about. There's so much happening.
Yeah.
It's the biggest shift that we've ever had in our entire lives. So why not write about it? Why not write about what you witnessed? So I mean, there's not a second where my pen has a idea of not moving. You know, I mean, I've been writing songs every night pretty much. And then at the same time, just realizing that it's a point of service. That's one of the tools that I have that can help people heal, that can take people's minds off of things. So as soon as the pandemic, I mean, literally that road to recovery was put on an album that I pretty much just gave away. I just released it as soon as the pandemic started. Like I said, let me just go in the studio and just create. And that's one way how I heal first and foremost. But I just wanted to just kind of take people's minds off. And I didn't want to be all sad, like, oh, we're home. It was just more like, let's get through this, y'all. Let's get through this. But right out here, I got a whole green screen set up. We've been doing these virtual concert shows.
Oh, nice.
Well, so I mean, it's been really, really, really busy. And of course, I got 3 young boys in the house as well with my wife. And of course, homeschooling, and as well as just making them have a great summer.
Eric, you are jumping through all of my questions.
You're jumping the gun.
Oh, my bad. Yo, Jeff, but to round it up though, it's like there's not a dull second here. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome. You know, what you're saying just speaks to your brilliance, and the fact that the two of you kind of think alike, because we set up last night thinking, what would the viewers really like to know about you? And I found, I'll just jump ahead to one of them, in looking in your pictures, I think some of the things that are missing in our community when you talk about some of the struggles that different people who look like us were having during the pandemic is the lack of the 2-family home. And when I saw you had 3 little boys, I can just imagine, you know, being home with them, and them getting to see you every day, all day, must be a huge pleasure for them. But I'm
really
curious.
Is. But
go ahead.
No, what were you saying? Were you curious what?
Well, I was curious to know what homeschooling was like, because I've seen some Zooms where parents are getting caught half dressed in the bathroom. I'm just wondering, Eric, are there any videos like that of you out there?
I don't think so. I hope not. What I'll tell you, it's interesting because if we didn't have the pandemic, and you got to look at the plus and minuses. Obviously, this has been a tough time for all of us, but if we didn't have the pandemic, I would have been on the road over the summer. I would have missed out a lot of stuff. And this summer, man, I taught my kids how to swim. I taught them how to ride their bike. And really sold into them over this summer. Nice. Homeschooling is crazy, man. I mean, I will give a shout out to the school system here. They're really on top of it. They're amazing. But just trying to keep 3 kids organized. Mind you, we got a 4-year-old, so we're finding him like online preschool programs.
Oh, really?
It's bonkers, man. It's like, but I'll be honest with you. It's easier now that they're in like a schedule, like a school schedule.
Right.
Summertime was crazy because we were just trying to keep them off their electronics. Like, they could have just zoned out all day on, Nintendo Switch and phones and iPads and stuff like that. But it was like, we were trying, all right, let's go ride bikes. Let's go get in the pool. Right. Let's go outside and run. It was like trying to keep them. So what happens is I'm not working. So then once they finally went to sleep, which was like 11 o'clock, that's when I was getting down in the studio and trying to, put something together. It was pretty crazy, but I loved it.
And so I want to segue into the next question, which might be, I think they're getting might be a little personal, but I think during the pandemic, it's pretty obvious that there were a lot of struggles with families where, the husband and wife may have worked opposite hours, and people realized that they really didn't see each other in their marriages. And because of the pandemic, you now have everybody at home. In some families, kids escape during the day to go to school. And I'm just wondering, I know you have 3 boys. What was it like being home all the time with your other half, your best half?
I mean, it was good. I think the one thing, man, I've always said about my wife is I don't get tired of her. I think that's the best quality. I really, even we was arguing over something. As soon as the argument's over, it's like, all right, what you want to go eat? It's like we just like, that's beautiful. I don't want to go in another room. I'm kind of cool being around her. I like that. But we understood very early on that we would need to find our time individually and our time as a couple. Tonight, Thursday nights are our date nights. It got a little tough with football.
Are you late for date night now?
Say again?
Are you late for date night?
No, she's working right now. So,
trouble.
If I'm keeping it really 100, football season started, so date night now is a little adjustable now. Because she realized this is my time. I need a little help. But even last week she bought some easels and we did like some painting over some music and stuff like that. So find a time, but then at the same time, I tell her, like, if you need it, escape, like go into another room or take a drive or whatever, like, because this is a tough time. If you need to get some, like, these kids are going to be fine, and if they're not going to be fine, put them in therapy later. But like, we gotta get through this. And so yeah, it's been cool. I think that's, to be honest with you, has been the easier part. We've probably been more occupied with just how do we take care of them through this time, And I really, over the summer, we kind of made that figured out, like, okay, well, you can't stop working. So I was like, all right, during the daytime, we're just going to turn it to fun camp. I'm just going to go hard with them during the daytime. And when she finished with work, she take over, then I could go get some other stuff done downstairs or whatever. And then we pick a day where it's like, we just focus on each other and just let them zone out on whatever TV they want to do. And it worked out.
I think you kind of missing your calling, because I hear where you could have a couple Zoom and do a lot of teaching, because I can't. I mean, I'm single. I can't keep a guy 30 seconds. So I really can't. I can't. I don't know how a lot of people have managed during the pandemic. And I even have some friends that literally told me, I just do not like the person that I'm married to, and I didn't realize it until now.
It exposed
a lot of cracks in relationships.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to segue a little bit because a lot of people don't understand why we have this show, Journeys from Lagos to Brooklyn. Years back, we were approached by Bravo. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't have mentioned the network, but we were approached by a network, right? To do a reality show, to do a show about, who we are. Mm-hmm. And we went through several series of interviews and auditions. And at the end of the day, they didn't go with us because
you weren't ratchet enough.
We weren't ratchet. And to hear Eric talk and to be able to provide this environment, this setting where we can have this conversation about Black life and Black family, it may be boring to some, but it's so inspiring and so relevant and so important to our future.
Right.
This is why we have this platform. Mm-hmm. It's not a whole lot now, but we have to create our own media because they don't want to talk about this.
They don't.
Yeah. This is not interesting to them.
Yeah.
This is not what they want to do. We are the ones that have to shape.
Right.
We're not making $1 off this thing. It's costing us money to put this, but it's necessary. And that's why we do this every Thursday. And we want people to really, try to help us build this because there are not a lot of avenues where you're going to find what we're doing and what we're trying to do. So I just want to commend you guys for just being here as part of this team and trying to push this great content out every week.
And I think it's important because as even when I watched the debate last night, and I was watching Kamala Harris and how eloquent she spoke, and how well controlled and articulate she was. I was very surprised at some of the discussion that I saw on social media where people were saying things like, "Oh, she's smiling too much. She needs to be more aggressive." And for me, as a woman of color, I watched the entire thing and I was saying to myself, I'm so happy she's educated, she's articulate, she's comfortable in her skin, and she was smiling because in my opinion, if she had taken the vantage point of being aggressive, then they would immediately
they would have took that and ran with it.
Of course. Yes, they would have. She would have been another angry Black woman and this, that, and the other. And I'd already seen like some local comedians who had did some a few little skits where they were saying, Pence, when she starts to roll her neck or talk with her hands, you've lost the debate.
I'm not a fan, but she did a good job. She had a nice showing.
We're gonna get into that, Mister.
we're gonna keep it nice.
But
we still have some more questions for Eric.
Doing what we're doing is akin to what Eric did, in that the status quo is never going to allow you to be who you are, and you realize that very early. Yes. Which I'm impressed by that. And in what we're doing now, nobody of the status quo is going to back 3 intelligent Black people that aren't fighting, that are talking about real issues and talking about solutions. And so we're kind of stepping out on that limb, and I feel good about being here. I do.
I want to bring the discussion. I'm sorry, Eric. I wanted to bring it back to you. What were you about to say?
No, I would just say, what you guys are doing, I commend you first and foremost. And one, equipment is power. So if you have equipment, you have the ability to do anything. And I learned very early on that, if you build something on your platform, success or fail through the ups and downs, it's yours. You know what I mean?
Right.
Find purpose. It's tough to try to build your platform, build a success on someone else's platform. Then you're at the mercy of how they see success. With your platform, you can define your own success, and that's everything.
Facts. Well said.
That's true. I wanted to. Well, first of all, let's talk about you and your fan base, because now I am officially a fan. Because not only do I like the music, I like the personality. Now that I know your story, and there are not enough images for me of men of color.
She was banging your music on her hoopty on the way here.
Hello. I have a nice convertible Z4. I was running over people and listening to you. But no, seriously, I want to know, how can your fans best support you at this time?
Just one, spreading the word, but you know, I have something called The Process, which is a group of people that subscribe to follow me in the studio. And if you see even the stuff I do on Instagram, what I'm really doing is they have an inside look at everything I create, everything I'm working on, whether it's the green screen concerts or whatever, or just every song idea I create here in the studio. That's probably the best way, because I feel like that's where we're moving. We're over 1,000 people now already in the community. It's a great community. I do a weekly podcast there, which I got to have you guys as a guest on as well. But it's a really fun time, and if anybody interested, they can go to jointheprocess.com.
So I'm gonna interrupt you just for a second, because as you know, we are filming live in Amarachi, and right now somebody's making some henny coladas, which is frozen drinks, and I couldn't really hear you for the mixing machine, and I want to make sure that we get the website that you said, which I thought was jointheprocess.com. Is that what you said?
Join the Process, yes. Jointheprocess.com. You can come in and get a front row seat at everything I'm working on.
And I think I saw that on your Instagram. And what was amazing to me, because, you know, being a regular person, a regular citizen, you're always kind of impressed or infatuated with these people with the blue checks. So, you know, Eric has a blue check, and I was like, wow, Bubby's got some good friends.
As a what? A blue what?
He has a verified account.
Oh.
So, like, if you're an influencer,
what is that? Twitter, Instagram?
No. So that's on Instagram. He's on Instagram. But once you're verified on Instagram, you typically can be verified on all the other social media handles, right?
And what does that mean?
What does that? I don't know what that means.
That are not verified.
Well, you know, so Instagram has created a platform where our producer is laughing because Bub's like, I don't know what that means to have a verified account. So when you go on Instagram, there are certain individuals that have like a little blue mark next to their name.
Okay.
And it means that Instagram has verified who that individual is, regardless to if it's a business place or a
personality.
And it's really celebrity, to protect their integrity, because they're
copycats out there.
Yeah, scammers and people who will use their life.
Like our producer said. Yeah.
Right. That's exactly what it is. But there are certain guidelines generally to get that. And so you have people out there that will approach you for $1,000. I can get you verified, and you know, all kinds of things. Yeah, it's a huge market.
Well, I know Eric is completely organic.
Well, and you know, that's what I wanted to say, is that I noticed that it appeared that he was actually replying to each person himself in his comments, and I was so humbled by the way he was humbled in his replies, like, you know, literally telling each person who left a comment that he appreciated it, and that makes you want to support that person.
Well, I know Eric has one of the most loyal, most amazing fans, and I mean, his fans absolutely love him. At his concerts, they show up, they show out, they follow him. So, I mean, you talk of when we talk about independent artistry, you know, we used to do a lot of shows, and I've come across a lot of artists, but I always tell them, man, like, you're nothing without your fans. Your fans show the world who you are, and his fans, not only in America but England, Japan, Africa, wherever he is, they come out and show support and have fueled his career.
So I wanted to ask a question for people who are not in the industry, primarily myself, because when I first read, I did a little research, read your bio and a few things. It didn't resonate to me what it meant to be called king of independent soul and R&B, but now that I'm speaking, I understand it sounds like it pertains to how you're labeled.
Absolutely.
And so maybe Eric, could you just explain to the people
what it means
to
be an indie artist?
Yeah, what it means to be an indie artist.
Now majority of the artists are independent now. It's more going into that nature. What I would say is that next year, 2021, I'll be celebrating 20 years of releasing my own label, my own music on my own label through my own.
That means you own your masters, right? Is that
on my masters, just really complete control. And plenty of your favorite artists are independent now, but can they say they've been independent for that long? By no means was I the first, of course, right? But the difference for me was the history of it. Before was an artist will put a record out independently or whatever. You have something out, and once it's sold a certain amount of records, 10, 15, 30,000 records or something, the majors would usually come in and then sign that artist. And most of your favorite artists of like the mid to late 90s, that's how it really started. Early 2000s, they would do a major record deal after that. So like Kim, when you look at it, Dwelle, Lettucey, Guapole, a whole bunch of people. For me, it was about, well, what happens if you just stay independent? What happens when the labels come? You just say, nah, I'm good. I'm just going to stay in this lane. And truth be told, I had so many record deals up to that point. And then as a songwriter and a producer, I watched so many records be made and not come out. That was probably the biggest thing for me.
Why does that happen?
It's just a business. It's just imagine you have a chef. Let's say Bobby. Let's use another restaurant. I don't want to use Amarachi because I don't want to put that on it. Let's just say a restaurant named Journey right down the street from you guys has this amazing chef in there, and he's cooking up these amazing plates. You're like, yo, when we open up on Monday, they're gonna go crazy over this chicken and salmon because you're doing a whole bunch of stuff. And by Sunday, a new GM comes in, a new manager comes in, and they just come in and go, I'm not really a salmon and chicken fan. Why don't we go this direction? And then blink is just something different. So, it happens all the time. Whether it's the marketing team didn't realize like how to market it, or the A&R was arguing with the manager punched him in the face. Man, I done seen every scenario you could think of. The artist gets pregnant or whatever. So,
and then
So what you do is if you take your favorite artist, whether that's Usher, Beyonce, India.Arie, Erykah Badu, whatever, take your favorite artist and just think that if they never came out, how much music you would miss. That's what we saw in the norm. Because in those meetings, we saw these artists, we like, oh my God, they're going to change the world when they come out, and they never come out. And I just saw that.
There are a lot of artists who were talented that died in obscurity, because the record label didn't know how to
and that's where you get the term one-hit wonders, where you never hear from them again.
Or never
one-hit wonders sometimes will even have a long career. They just never could match that one big song, right? We gotta think. Those big songs, like when you take, it's almost a blessing and a curse, right? It's like most people don't survive having the song of the summer. Not everybody's Drake, right? So usually, if you have a song that big, you're not matching it. And then, and the crazy thing is most people say that they're not at home working at KFC. Usually that they can just tour off of that song for the rest of their life if they're smart.
Right.
But I'm not even talking about the people I'm talking about artists who don't even get that. Like the music never comes out. And 1 second you're on a label making some incredible music that you were set to release. And then in a blink, it's over. You're back at home doing construction or something like that. And I just didn't want to be part of that fraternity, man. I was like, I'll give my music away before I go there,
Let someone else do it for you.
And I think it's wonderful. No, I was saying I think it's wonderful. I see all the time. We'll get off the phone at 11 o'clock, and he'll just go make a song and release it the next day, and he doesn't have anybody, to tell him this, that. This. That is just so empowering, and you have such freedom, and it's just beautiful to see someone that just, listen, I stuck to my guns, and
but he did this,
and I love it. And it's worked out.
What I'm impressed with is that, you can see how the kids are doing it today because they have the power of social media to take that chance. And if they can build up their community enough, then record companies are going to come looking or whatever. And, if they want to go that way, they can. He did this before social media and all these things were, he stuck to his guns before social media was there to really be the wind beneath his wings.
And really,
and that's impressive.
The indictment is really on us as a people that we do not support independent, good music enough. And we allow the airways to be dominated by content and people that, look at what they've done to R&B for the most part, mainstream R&B.
Yeah, it's when I was listening to his music, the one thing that I realized very quickly I didn't hear any profanity.
Exactly.
I didn't hear any vulgarity. And
misogynistic.
Literally, as soon as I heard the first song on the album, I started to dance in my car.
Folk music.
Yeah,
it's mature, intelligent, cerebral music. It's music that's impactful. And like I said, we have to blame ourselves that we haven't done enough to prop up these wonderful artists in our community that we know every day by not supporting them however we can to help them continue to dominate. They can't be the minority. They have to be the majority. When they are the majority, that's when I know we're doing the right thing. And right now we're not doing the right thing because we continue to allow these people that are shooting themselves and killing themselves
or shooting other
people to dominate.
The music is, I mean, like,
it's trash.
The music is trash. I mean, Eric, do you feel like seems like you make a concerted effort to make empowering or positive music? Do you feel that what's going on today in our communities are a reflection of our art, our musical art?
I think when we were younger, and Bob can attest to this, when we were playing Madden, we weren't listening to Freddie Jackson. We were playing Busta Rhymes and,
but you know what,
Mobb Deep.
Mobb Deep is just that's some powerful.
But
stuff.
those are legends, man. At the end of the day,
I mean, so I'm more just to say that even the music that's done today is for somebody. It may not be for us, but it may be for somebody. The overall thing is that it should always be balanced. And if I talk about the major side of the business, the travesty of a lot of this is that they have aimed at just one particular demographic where, 20 years ago, they fed the entire level of demographic. Sure, the main focus was maybe 17-year-olds and teeny boppers and stuff like that, but you had music for your parents at that time. And now they kind of overlook that. But then the good thing is that that's a whole neglected fan base that if you realize it, you're like, okay, I just got to get to this person. I always use Bubby as a perfect example when I'm talking about early demographics. Like, I remember when Bubby after college was working at the car company, right? I think he was working for Jeep. And
he told me that story recently.
Bubby was making a good amount of money. He wasn't married at the time, didn't have kids, and every end of the week, Bubby was one of the top salesmen at Jeep. He would have a pocket full of money. He would go to Tower Records or whatever record store is there, and just whether listening just because it was the culture of what he knew, he would go in there and he would buy like 13 CDs. And he would go home and he played them or not. And the next week he would work. What else he going to spend his money on? He was like, it was like, if you just realize that this demographic of people had a pocket full of money and you aimed it at them, but they let them go. You let them, and then you wonder why Tyler Perry's a billionaire just off of really older church women. That older church woman been so ignored that when he started making these, gospel plays kind of, and then started going into almost like the comedy gospel movies,
right?
You feeding the untapped demographic. So that's the thing. If we just can wake up and wake those up and kind of connect back to their hearts, you'll also connect back to their pocketbooks and their pockets as well. So I will tell you that I will say that people like myself, I make a really good living. I'm really, really happy. I'm content. Am I like running the airways and winning a lot of awards? Nah, but do I need it at the same time? And I kind of stress everybody that some of the best music that's ever existed is being made right now. You just have to look for it. That's the difference now. It's not getting played on the radio. It's not really any video stations anymore that's really putting you front and center. But that doesn't mean that it's not being made. It's not meaning that there's not some incredible shows being made and being on tours happening. You just kind of got to look for it. Everything you want is actually there. And I think my career is really an example of that. My career is more of like, whether you get down my music or not, I'm an example that it's out here. So if you don't get down with me, at least look next to me, because this dude's dope. This young lady's dope. They all dope here. So like, let me at least, if you catch me, I'm at least gonna be the connection of them, and vice versa. If you find them, I'm not gonna be too far away from there. So it's dope stuff is still happening. It's It's just not done through the major system like that.
And I think I know for me, I have forgotten that, especially given everything that's going on in the world presently. So it was really refreshing to hear your music, and even just some of the things that you spoke to, like the different artist names that I heard you say, or a lyric or a rhythm that reminded me of a song that really had good feeling, as opposed to.
So is it women's music? Because you're glowing, you came in here glowing.
Well, I mean, he does sing.
It's R&B, man.
To women, but that's what R&B is.
It's grown and sexy. It's grown folk music.
Okay. Yeah, it's the music that you can turn up loud, let your windows down, and when you pass people on the street, they're not looking at you wanting to cut your head off because it's not, cursing and saying things that.
And what I love more is that his newer music has a more political edge to it now, which I'm proud of. I mean, that's my alley, and when Eric started, how could you not be impacted with what's going on around your world? Right. And he's showing that listen, I've done this all my life, but I got to pay attention to what's going on.
Right.
To you, to me, to the world around me, and making music to address that is just another incredible aspect
you have to, because
of what he's doing.
The other music that we're talking about is the same shit. Trap.
Of course.
How do I flip this key? How do I, it's not running with the times and saying something that can help the masses.
And we usually keep our guests on for no more than an hour. So I have two last questions for you, and I want you to give us. I say this because to have your best friends or one of your best friends do a record with Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff when you're a teenager, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
To have I think he had it went gold or something, or he has a plaque.
Nice.
So to be 18, 19 in his basement with this plaque, and he's telling me the stories of. How he met Kanye West before Kanye West was Kanye West. So I want you to give us 10, Robert Glasper, 10 artists that stick out to you in your career that you've worked with, that you've really enjoyed, that we should go check out on Spotify, go listen to. I want 10 that you've worked with personally, and then I want to know 3 artists that you're currently listening to right now.
Oh man. 10 artists that I have worked with to definitely Avery Sunshine, phenomenal musician and singer, just one of the biggest stage tear downers. If anybody's noticed, like PJ Morton over the last 4 years has become one of the biggest artists, in Black music. And I've been touring with PJ and watching him hustle and work for close to 16, 17 years. And it's been one of those things, an honor to watch. So when I talk about those stage killers, like, you don't want to come after them. Like they rock so hard. PJ's up there. Avery Sunshine is up there. If I'm gonna name some more Avery, so I won't name because of course a lot of my success came from working with friends, right? So, the Music Soul Childs or whatever. But if you want me to name people, I want you to look up. Algebra Blessed.
I want you to give us 10 people that we know on a global, worldwide level because I want people to really appreciate.
Okay, so then,
you've been nominated for Grammy. You've been at the Grammy, so I want people to understand how big you really are in a humble way, because that's how we do. You're a Libra, man. I know. You don't like to talk much about it, but
thank you.
Biggest artists, and then I want to know a few of your favorite artists,
the ones that you want us to go look up.
Yes.
So Jill Scott. Jill Scott, I had the fortunate opportunity. I remember her coming in the studio for the first time. It was an honor to watch her first album being made. We have a duet called One Time that has done very well for my career in general. Music Soul Child, I worked on his first 2 albums. So really nice to watch his dreams come true, him become one of the most iconic people of soul music. 112, which was one of my first placements. I landed a song on their album when called Funny Feelings when I was still in college.
Yes.
Currently working, got a banger with Wale. I don't know when he putting it out, but he's been a huge supporter of mine for years. I'm happy we were able to collaborate.
The second Nigerian, you know.
Yeah, indeed. Amari Hardwick from Power. I had him on one of my albums before. Before Amari was an actor, he was a spoken word artist, and he's a phenomenal spoken word artist. And we worked on
the person who played Ghost.
Yeah,
the person who played Ghost. Yeah, Amari. He's phenomenal. He's what?
He's my boyfriend. He just doesn't know it.
Got you. I'll let him know. You got him for 30. You got him for 30 seconds.
Thank you. You do that.
No doubt. But I'm looking forward to his album coming out. It's gonna be really, really, really dope. Robert Glasper, he and I have done a lot of stuff together. I was on Black Radio 2 with that album. We had a song called Big Girl Body. What else?
Chubb Rock.
Chubb Rock.
Come on, you could be his cheerleader.
What's the big gospel singer? You on tour with him? The Four Tenors? The Four Tenors?
Oh yeah, well yeah. So that's what I was gonna say is, the crazy thing is when you get in this business and your heroes become your friends. That's been the craziest part. Where now, like Will Downing, I mean, I'm a huge Will Downing fan. I watched this man's career. I studied his career, and now like his numbers in my phone. We work together. He was on a previous album of mine. Every time he calls me, I'm still like scratching my head, like how is this happening? Fred Hammond, like Bobby alluded to, was one of the reasons I started writing songs. He was in a group called Commission, and when I heard Commission, it was like I want to do this, right? So some years ago, after studying that music, after becoming a songwriter, I met him and he said, "Hey, I'm forming a new group. Would you want to be a part of it?" And I was like, "Sign me up." You know what I mean? And really, we formed a group called United Tenors. To this day,
I missed his name again because I get it confused.
Fred Hammond. Fred Hammond.
I don't think you heard it. I don't think you heard it. That's why I told him to say it again.
I did not
he
hear
slipped
him say
it in as usual.
I sing Fred Hammond along with a couple other gospel singers every Sunday morning before my Bible study class with my dad.
Oh yeah, he's iconic. He's literally the part of the fabric of where we are in music today is because of his voice, because of his writing, because of his production. Not just in gospel, just music. Period. Boyz II Men, Jodeci, everybody would say that. He's up there. So. To be able to call him a friend is like, man, take everything. That's it. And to tell you what's even crazier was probably for 15 years, I had chances of meeting him and I passed every time. I passed it every time. And it's more because I didn't want it to just be, hey, I'm a really big fan. You wanted the reason I write songs. And they'd be like, cool.
Right.
When he met me, I wanted him to see, like, literally, you see all of this? You see everything I have here? Yo, thank you. Because of you, like, I got all of this. You know what I'm saying? And when I was able to meet him, I was able to show him that,
That's beautiful.
Able to show him that. So it was really impactful.
Can I ask one question? If you could name one, well, I have two questions. If you could name one artist, your favorite person that you worked with, and then your dream artist that you would like to work with, whether they are living or not?
That's a very political question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
How are you gonna say his favorite? Like, I can't even call him my best friend because that's just a political question.
You can call him your best friend.
Understand.
All right, they are jumping on my case. So let's change the question a little bit.
You don't have to change it. You don't have to change it. That's Bubby being a Libra, and I'm that way because look, me and Bubby best friends. We understand this in way. We have several best friends, right?
Exactly.
If Bubby said I was his only best friend, then he would really be in trouble, right?
Okay.
We got a text message thread right now. I know he'll be in trouble if he said that.
Like, we have an internal group.
Yeah, we have an internal group of best friends. And it's more than fine. So when I say, I mean, it's hard for me to say Fred Hammond hasn't been the best experience because he means so much to me, right? But each particular situation is special. Each particular situation. I know that's a very Libra type question. But you know, you really bond in friendships. I have a group called Tigalero. Me and a brother named Fonte Coleman. We did an album, I think 4 years ago, and it's probably the biggest record I've done over the last couple of years. The one he and I, and really he's one of my closest friends in music. And we did the album more as a testament of friendship as than anything else. So I think that was just really impactful and
Picture Perfect, the song that you were asking me about, the
Picture Perfect, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was with Fonte, right?
Yeah, so Picture Perfect was on my album and Fonte was on my album, but really over the last 10 years, when I did a project, he was on my album. When he did a project, I was on his album. So it was only made sense that we would get together and do an album together, you know. You know, just because you want it that way. You don't also want, when you create with somebody, you want to have great conversation. You want to have a good time. And sure, it's a lot of work and it can be stressful and hard because you're trying to make it right and amazing. But at the same time, you want to go into it with somebody you know got your back. You know,
right.
So those are names. I can. It'll be hard for me. I'm not going in the studio with somebody I don't get down with. I'm not going in the studio with somebody I disagree with, that we don't vibe well. If you got to find somebody you can work with, then it's all about, you know what, say make it fit, right? If they don't fit, right. So I can't say there hasn't been anybody I work with I can't call a friend. You know what I mean? And not feel that they have my back as well.
And if you could work with anyone, any artist at all, living or not, Can you say who you like to work? Can you let him?
I know who he's going to say.
Bob says he can answer for you. I want to hear if he's
Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder?
No, he's wrong. Now, mind you, Stevie Wonder is my favorite artist in the entire world, and I've stopped this too. Hands down, favorite artist in the entire world. Right? Okay. If I had a choice to really work with anybody, it would be Bill Withers.
Oh, right. And he passed.
And he just passed. Man, rest in peace, brother Bill. And I think because just his converse, he was so wise, man. He was so wise. I connect to his writing a lot, and I just feel like I would learn a lot in that session. I would have yearned not to make music with him. I would have yearned to just talk and listen to him. And you know, the second question would have been Erykah Badu, and it wouldn't even be to write with Erykah Badu. It really would just be watching her work. I want to see, like, Bag Lady is to me so amazing. Like, I want to see how you came up with Bag Lady, right? So for me, it would have been that. Like, but Bill Withers, hands down. Yeah, if I could have had a chance to be in the studio with him, I would have paid whatever price to do that.
We've kept you over an hour. I really want to thank you for spending this hour with us on your date night. And this was extremely last minute. I literally called him yesterday.
I know.
Full disclosure.
I know.
And my buddy made it happen. And I really appreciate, and we're very excited to have you. And this has just been a phenomenal hour. I don't want it to ever go over, you know, so we're going to cut it now. And hopefully we'll ask you to come back at some point. And we have some unfinished questions. And hopefully we can get another hour out of you sometime soon.
Yeah, I'm gonna bang you in my truck. Well,
I appreciate it.
I'm gonna play I got a nice system in my truck. I'm gonna play you in there.
Don't bang my boy.
I gotta go up and talk to my wife about this. Like, hey, I just got banged in the truck.
I appreciate it. Play his music.
All love.
Eric's not gonna forget to tell my boyfriend I said hi. Ghost.
Thank you, man. Happy birthday. I know you had a birthday.
It was a pleasure. Not too long ago. Peace.
Absolutely.
Peace.
Okay.
That was pretty dope.
That was Bob. I'm so impressed. You've got some
You got
friends with
friends?
I
clout.
just don't
I
talk.
forgot to ask him if you had Jerry curls back then.
Listen.
I meant to.
Listen.
Slip
They're
my mind.
layers, man. They're layers. I don't like telling y'all stuff, man. That's why I don't like telling y'all stuff,
know,
man. I just like to show. You know,
Because I
just
play Bob
introduce
close
it.
all the time.
And then I don't say nothing.
Why don't we do this, Bob? Why don't you do that?
DJ Nani, what's up? In
Hi,
the building.
Hi, DJ
Long
Nani.
time. You know, it's been a minute. You ran away. Talk about ain't coming back to Brooklyn never again. But you're here. You're home. I see.
That was awesome. I enjoyed that.
That was good. I actually was so into the dialogue and what he was saying, which was quite informative, that I stopped eating my food, which doesn't really
That doesn't happen that often.
It doesn't.
From what I remember.
Eric is definitely one of the best people I know. You know, from a very young age, the man has never had an ounce of alcohol, and that alone, you know, because I people always ask me, like, guy talk, right? Guys always say, "Bub, how come you don't cheat?" And I always think about, every time someone asks me that question, I always go think about Eric, and I'm like, no matter what, this brother never drank. Like, you can have that kind of supreme discipline.
Yeah.
No matter what, like, he's been on every tour, in every situation, has everything, and he just
Nice.
I'm good. He's in a
You
place in his life where he's
You
good.
can tell, and you know what? To your credit, Bob, you know, I know we go back and forth, but you have some solid friends.
Well, the friends that you keep
Are the solid ones.
are show who you are.
Right.
Right.
You know, I'm botching up you're a proverb, but that's really, you know, the people you keep really show who you are. And I've been fortunate to have tremendous people. I lucked into, you know how me and Eric met?
Oh, this is good.
We're both from Howard. I'm from New York. He's from Jersey. And like he told you, I was a music fanatic. I literally bought 10 CDs or tapes every week. And I used to literally make mixtapes like this, like stop, pause, or the cassette deck. And when we got to Howard, OPP had just came out, like 4 or 5 albums, like classic hip hop albums just came out. So I put my speakers in the window.
Oh, and that's how you make
and I'm playing all the stuff they ain't have in Drew Hall. And Eric is like, so during camp, so the campus pals have like this you know, like the first weekend you're there, they have this like retreat or whatever, you know, where you introduce. So we're all sitting in this room, we don't know each other, and he's like, man, some asshole on my floor keeps playing this goddamn music.
That's what Eric
in the middle of the night. You know, like, can I get some goddamn rest? You know, what is it with you people?
Guilty.
So that's literally, you know, how we met. And it's just been, you know, I was one of his best men in his wedding. He was one of mine in my wedding. It's just been, you know, it's amazing to have a friend that's also a mentor, that's also an icon. So he inspires me every step of the way.
Nice.
You know?
That's good.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
I want to for our viewers, I want to explain, because I know I'm looking down a lot. I have people who are sending messages.
She's rude.
I'm not rude, at least not on our show. Hello. But one of my friends, CJ, is commenting on how much he likes Eric's hat.
Yeah. That was fire.
He said, I just texted the show to my mom, so I'm not going to say exactly what he said, but he said the hat is dope as F. Right.
That's what's up.
He really likes the hat.
Like I said, Eric has been doing the style thing from birth. His mother is a stylist.
And I meant
to ask, yes.
I meant to ask, was there a clothing line or something out there?
He has if you go to his house, he has,
I can imagine,
rooms of clothing.
Oh wow.
And sneakers.
My type of dude. Type of dude.
So okay. So we're into our second half of the show, and I see we got quite a few people. Hey Bella, I see you online leaving comments. I'm just wondering, you know, what people are thinking, because this is a fun part to me, where we get to talk about current events. And I don't know, what are we going to talk about first? Are we going to talk about
the fly on the head? The fly on the head. The fly.
I need a drink.
Pence is his fly. Oh, okay. Can you? Where's
What?
Bella? Bella's still
She
here.
just passed by. She's good. Go ahead. Let's
He
deal with the
said he
fly.
needs a
We all
cocktail.
do. We all do.
No,
We're good.
No,
T.I., whenever you're ready, we need some alcohol.
yeah, but I know Bella said to me, "I'm dying to be on the show. I just want to be on the show once."
It's coming. It's
So-
coming. Everyone will get an opportunity
It's
to get on
coming.
the show.
She
Everyone.
can bring a drink. But you know, you guys can be at the show, not necessarily on the show.
Yeah.
You can come to Amarachi because I want to remind you that we are filming live. We're at Amarachi restaurant located in Brooklyn on the Manhattan Bridge. We have inside dining, and you know, with the way
Live studio audience.
yes, we have people in here eating now. The food is delicious. I have a cocktail. Can you please tell me what I'm eating again?
You're eating eforiro.
Eforiro.
Vegetable soup.
It's vegetable soup, which is interesting. I'm from the South. It's a soup that doesn't have any liquid.
No, but you know what?
But it's vegetables.
You know what about our show? I don't mean to cut you, but it's, you know, we're in the studio. Sometimes our audio is a bit challenged, but we are in a real timely situation here by doing the show at Amarachi.
Absolutely.
You know, the location where we are, like I always say, it's trendy Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But we hear the sounds and the dynamics of business in Brooklyn, and that's amazing.
It feels alive. It just feels
it's
alive to me. It's alive. I have people just doing whatever they're doing, and we're here doing what we're doing.
Right.
It's just a beautiful
It's a
thing.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
But you know, now what am I drinking? A Pink Whitney.
Yes.
I'm kind of not enjoying it as much because as I take the sip, I'm thinking Eric has never had a drop of alcohol.
And listen, during our wedding, I tried to get the man to drink.
Why would you do
Why
that?
not? I mean, it's my personality. It just, you know.
Oh my goodness!
I
understand.
did everything,
As a man,
but I had to
understand that.
respect it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what? I mean, almost to the point that I almost slipped it in his. Almost
Eric,
slipped a
are you
little
still
alcohol in
listening?
his.
Eric, are you listening to me?
But I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. You know, because listen, you know, he never had alcohol. You know, he might react funny to
How
it.
do you do 4 years at Howard and not have a
He was
drop?
busy. He was busy, man.
That's
Doing
Actor,
crazy.
making music, traveling. He was
You know,
busy.
I'm
was
gonna have
busy.
to apologize to my mother. My mother had talked to me about going to Howard, and it was so close to home. And all I knew is that Howard had really good-looking guys. That was one thing that we knew from being in Columbia. And I kind of wish maybe I had gone. Maybe I would be married with like 2.5 kids. Now.
Every person should go. Everyone should have an Howard experience. Everyone. Whether you go there or not. It's just. For me, the minute my brother took me there on a college tour,
You didn't think of
with
going
two of my
anywhere else.
friends,
I went
it
to
was
Pennsylvania.
paradise.
Yeah.
To be in a place so black, so strong, so smart,
And
Yeah,
that's-
so smart,
That's what.
and
that's
the
what
history,
intimidated-
and the
intimidated me.
people that have walked that yard,
Yeah.
the people that have walked the valley, you know,
Yeah.
they've been in the A building.
Yeah.
You're part of that
I
now.
mean, I didn't
You're
think of it
part of
then,
that.
but then as you know,
Yeah.
they learn the history. As later, you're like, wow, I was on
Yeah.
some
Listen,
on some real special.
The next vice president is coming out of Howard. I mean,
let's-
what else?
Great
What
segue.
else do you
Great
want,
segue. Let's get
baby?
into the topic of the
Like,
day.
What else do you
I know.
want?
Let's go back to
Let's
I
do it.
see there's so many people who are looking online. Can we get some comments? I wanna see what you have.
We don't
to
need no
say.
comments. There's so much to talk about. I miss Peter. I didn't get to go at his neck in the whole 2 weeks.
I know
Listen,
he's got
I noticed when I
was.
was missing last week, y'all needed three brilliant, beautiful brothers to do the heavy lifting in my absence.
You saw that, right? You saw that.
Y'all needed
You saw that, right?
You know, you had David Braff.
Yes.
He came at me.
No, he asked for you.
I did, but he came at me in his own way. Then you had Rob
Roberson,
amazing
Brother Ali.
And then you had
Brother
Ali. It was a great show,
Yes,
even though I
yes,
wasn't here.
yes.
But
I thought he was joking. At 4-something this morning, he said he was watching.
well,
the
I didn't
show.
want to show up and not because I hadn't watched the show. I've been so busy, and I was so glad I did, man. It was a great
really
show.
good show.
But it made me feel good because you needed three brothers to take the place of me. So let's do it. Let's get to it.
Yes, so we're gonna talk about Pence and that fly. And you know what amazed me? I watched it with my two beautiful roommates. I recently moved, so our house is a hot babe house, 3 girls, and we sat and we watched it.
I gotta check it
last
out.
night. I know you're not invited. No, but we watched it last night, and when that fly landed on his hair was so stiff. I wasn't even sure that it was real.
That's why the fly was there for so long. He couldn't
He's
leave.
dead. He's already dead. He's dead.
Well, I thought he
He's
had
dead.
pink eye at one point when they were doing the
He had
close
something.
up
He had something
from
going on.
the left side, and one of my
He has
roommates, I
COVID.
hated. Well, she said he had. She said
He had pink eye.
Burst. What she?
Is that a symptom now?
I think so.
Did they add that?
No,
I think so.
and it stayed there for 2 minutes.
He was a he is a horrible human being.
You can tell. It seeps through his pores.
They give you 2 minutes, and this man consistently, it was like he came there to say, fuck your 2 minutes. I'm gonna stop talking when I want to stop talking.
He had to because Trump
And
said.
it ain't like he's saying anything either. He's just regurgitating
don't you think
typical
Trump,
Republican garbage.
listen, if I know Trump the way I think I know Trump, didn't you think Trump instructed him
Absolutely.
to jump in whenever he
No.
cut her off?
This guy is way worse than Trump.
Oh yeah.
And that's what the whole thing was.
Yeah.
That listen, don't impeach Trump exactly because you're gonna deal with this guy.
You don't want
who and I made a post about it, Peter, because this is the kind of guy you compare you think of Biden. You talk about the lesser of two evils. It's these guys.
No, you talk
gotta
about the
worry
lesser
about.
of two evils.
No.
Right? Evil is evil.
You're saying Biden is the same. Biden is not Pence. Pence is.
He is.
Those guys.
He is.
They're quiet. They're deadly.
Yeah, and he's smart.
He's not gonna
unlike
go
Trump,
crazy and do all of that, but he's quiet, deadly.
Yeah.
And those are the guys you gotta watch out for. Those are the guys that have been running politics
into that, but
in America
he's a piece of shit.
for hundreds of years.
For sure.
With that quiet deadliness. That's the guys you gotta worry
about. I think
about.
that Biden is no different, and
Biden is different.
That's where we get ourselves in trouble.
You can't get Pence to say certain things.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You can't get Pence to condemn white supremacy.
Yeah.
He won't say it. You can't get Pence to condemn the KKK.
Well, they didn't ask
it.
him that. To be fair, they asked the president that, and he didn't.
What I'm saying is Pence is way worse than Trump.
Absolutely.
Even though they're cut from the same cloth.
Absolutely.
I think it's because Pence.
He's
is
much more
intelligent.
sophisticated.
Yeah, and he's smart.
Much more
Trump.
sophisticated.
He's smart.
And
that's
much
different.
more deadly.
I understand that if in his state, which is Virginia, if a woman lost a child within her first trimester, you had to have a funeral.
He's crazy. Like these
wow.
people are just crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Can I,
So we're live in Amarachi, and at this point, Michael, can you call Ti for us so that my thirsty friend Peter can get a drink?
I was online. I'm online. I'm an online activist, and
Both ways.
I saw a friend of mine was being questioned by some lady, talking about, abortion. And I'm like, this is not the 1950s. We're 70 years. We're in 2020.
Yeah, but they do.
You don't have a right to tell someone what to do with their body.
You do if states like Alabama
No,
make it illegal.
and nobody has a right
Well, no, you don't.
to
but
tell
they have.
That's like me coming into your house and saying you can't eat rice and peas because my God says so. That's ridiculous. Is that crazy? Like, is that crazy? You mind your own business and you do your own thing.
Right.
Why are we talking about someone's right?
But do you understand why they're vehemently against it, right? Because their numbers are dying out. They're not. They're
right.
They have. They are procreating.
Wait.
They are procreating at a negative production rate.
No,
And
I
so
think
higher
what we call
abortion
they're born again Christians that are under psychosis. These are religious freaks,
Of course.
religious nuts that believe the sky god mandates them to have this view
You're gonna stand for that
on
I'm
someone else's what someone else does with their body or with their life.
A resident Christian is going to take exception to that.
Well, no. So it's a interesting thing. I'm a woman before I am a Christian, and I believe that women should have freedom of choice. I've heard some people say, "Oh, you should only have freedoms of choice in cases of rape or incest," right? You definitely should have it then. But what they did in Alabama in terms of making abortion illegal and then saying any doctor who performs an abortion could ultimately be arrested, you're really telling these women now to go and do things on the black market where it can affect their livelihood, their
They
lives.
could kill themselves.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Messing with quack doctors, they can kill
And the
themselves.
thing, the reason why, what I've learned, and I don't know if it's true, the reason why those states where they're saying make abortion illegal is because non-black women tend to have a higher abortion rate than black and brown women who have
non-black women.
Well, I don't want to just say white women, right? But now you just made me
You think
say
so?
it.
Where did you hear that?
So
Don't confuse me. Just
no,
let's call a spade because I got lost
Just
right
say it.
here.
I actually
Please.
saw a show where they
It's a
said
talk show.
that one of the reasons why some states want to outlaw abortion is because you're looking down the road at how races are procreating. And if black and brown keep mixing, you won't have a white race. And white women tend to have a higher mortality rate of childbirth and a higher rate of abortion. So if there are no abortions, those white women then have to have those white boys and girls so that the race.
These people are not that sophisticated. The people, the masses are not. You got to understand, the masses, for the most part, are very. They're not that sophisticated. Believe me. Listen, you have the Pences and you have the people that control the dogma. They're up here. They're one set of people. But the masses, the everyday guy that's you find in the gas station, is not that guy. They're not that sophisticated. They're just following what the direction from the top is.
Pence, by the way, doesn't care if you get gang raped. You're supposed to bring that child to.
Well,
and that's what I'm saying.
That's what they said in Alabama as well. But you know, I think a woman should have a choice. I wish there was a way to make men have those procedures, and then you have less conceptions where there are no fathers.
If anyone has ever listened to a woman that has been raped talk about that experience, how can you possibly tell her
that's crazy?
She has to live with that horrible nightmare for the rest of her life,
crazy.
And giving birth to a child
and see that man every day.
Well, you know what's
I mean, what kind of person are you that will force someone?
Your person is predominantly
to deal with
men who are coming up with those laws, and they don't give birth to children.
Right.
So
no, they're just crazy.
Well, here's the other thing. In some states, I saw recently,
they're the same people that enslave people, that have people locked up in chains.
I got it. That's true.
They're crazy.
I get it. But there are some states too where if you are a victim of rape and you're forced to have the child, the person who raped you has parental rights to that child. Have you seen that?
That's crazy.
How does that work?
So after you come out of jail, if you go to jail,
right,
but you can sue for parental rights.
And that's what I'm saying. These are the same people that write in the Bible, it is okay to have slaves. It's okay to flog your slave. It's okay to kill your slave. Come on. And this is what we're saying. We have to abolish all of it. This kind of thinking that someone has a right to dictate and restrict your life, your freedom, is insane. And we have to do away with all of that.
And Biden is going to do this.
And for the most part, these are tenets of white supremacy.
I missed you. You were gone.
Is Biden going to do?
Biden going to do that for you?
Listen, don't you see Biden going out there on his campaign and talking about the morality and the fact that this stuff is wrong? You see him do that, and you want to ignore it. You see him say, "Yo, we have a problem in this country." You see him say it. He says it clearly. He admits that this country has a problem with racism,
right,
and white supremacy.
But you know, the other thing that I think was interesting, I think the
you're shaking your head. What do you? Where was
Where was this revelation
Who
the
cares?
47
It's
years.
here now.
No, but you can't
It's
look.
here
No,
now.
that sounds right to you. That after 47 years of being in the house,
I'd rather have it now.
Now you're
never.
coming out with a black platform because you need them votes.
Well, guess
You're
what?
okay with that?
No, it's better late than never.
I can't
By any
rock
means
with that.
necessary. So, would you rather him just stick to his old ways? Don't you want people
that's
to
what he's going to
change?
do once he gets in. Once
You don't know
once
that.
he takes your vote and
You
he
don't
gets
know
it
that.
and makes it into office, that's exactly
You
what
don't
he's
know.
going to do.
You don't know
don't
that.
know
They're going back
You
to
don't
their
know
old
that.
ways.
You don't know that.
You don't know that.
You don't
because
know that,
we'll
Peter.
have Kamala there.
Because he's.
doing her job.
You don't know that. You don't know that. And like I said,
47
Kamala
years,
is there
bro.
as a
47
vice
years.
president that will not allow that to happen. If for anything, she's
Absolutely.
there
You
Okay,
know,
to
do you believe
represent.
people can change.
in politics at this point,
No,
at 70,
people.
how old is he? No,
He's
no, no,
going to be
no.
78.
No,
actually.
understand that if his political legacy for 47 years has been oppressive to black people, has been penal, using them. Wait, let me come on. I haven't been here for
I was
2
saying hi
weeks.
to
Let
my
me talk.
daughter. I wasn't saying nothing to you.
Okay. Well, yeah, call for some drinks, but has been oppressive.
Yeah.
Has been taking advantage of the free labor that exists in the penal system for 47 years, and having him and his cronies invest in privatized prisons. He's going to change now. Come on, Bob.
Yes.
Yes. You know, the
At least he's talking about it. What am I going to go with a guy that's
47
totally
They all talk
against
about it.
it?
They all talk about
No,
it during
Trump doesn't
campaign.
talk about it.
47
Trump don't
years
talk
ago,
about it.
47
Trump says
years ago,
they're good people on both sides.
right.
That the people that want to
And he
kill you
also-
and me
yeah.
are good people.
And he also said,
And he's a
election day,
law enforcement guy.
Yeah, but he also said,
What does that
election
mean?
day,
That's a
he's
dog
going
He ain't
whistle.
sent as many people
You know what?
to prison
That's
as
a dog
Kamala
whistle.
and Joe.
Well,
tell you that right
and
now.
those people committed crimes.
Here we go back to we're not talking crime and punishment. We're talking excessive. There's a gentleman that just got released 2 days ago. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
When he was 18, he was working at a thing. He went and registered. He stole $50.75. He did 34 years.
Yes.
Okay.
I saw
That
that.
was
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Rockefeller
I saw that.
years, right?
Okay, no, that's Joe Biden and his bullshit.
No,
No,
don't
it
put that
wasn't.
on Joe Biden,
No,
bro.
Even if he
Don't put it on Joe
That was
Biden.
If he
that was
didn't
a
introduce,
Rockefeller law,
if he
right?
didn't introduce the bill, he was on there and he pushed for that and
Don't put
voted
it
for
on
that
Joe.
bill.
You don't know. Listen,
I
you
know.
don't-
We can look in the records. We
Let's
check it out.
Let's.
47
That
years ago,
specific case you can't put on Joe
a lot
Biden.
of things were different. A lot of things were different. I think with all the movements and civil unrest that has happened in the last year globally, I think if you were born with a Ku Klux Klan thing over your head, some people have definitely changed. Some people have not. There's some of us that I'm more frightened of than the
that's
Ku
a
Klux
fact.
Klan, to be honest.
That's a fact.
Right? But at the end of the day, I'm going to segue into like our next topic. We talked enough about the fly on the head. We talked about the vice presidency. I want to talk a little bit about whether or not, and remind you what we said last week. So last week on our show, we talked about the possibility whether or not Trump and his immediate circle had the vaccine back in
That is
January
true.
and February.
That was very
because
appropriate.
we could not understand how these people were just
So
outside,
reckless.
outside
So
with no
reckless.
mask, outside.
And now 34 of them have it.
Yeah, right. And another person last night. But the irony was, we just said that last Thursday, and before we could get back here this week, now he and his wife have COVID, a whole bunch of other people. And in my head, I'm saying,
Question is,
does he
do you
really
believe
have,
it?
That's what I'm
Exactly.
getting to. Does he really have COVID, or has he had it for a long time and they're just not releasing it because it's 26 days until election? And maybe he thinks him catching COVID will bring some type of sympathy for those of us who've lost friends.
It didn't work. Didn't work.
Well, I don't
It didn't
know.
work.
I
See,
don't know.
see,
Did it not
the
work
thing
for
about
everybody?
Trump is that there is no plan that works for him because he's such a go against the grainer. He does not have the temerity to follow through with any plan, no matter how sophisticated
Yeah,
it's
he couldn't
concocted.
even wear-
but
he
he
couldn't
can't
even
do
wear
it.
his
No,
mask
yeah,
for
no,
48
no,
hours.
you're great.
He
You're
will
right.
screw it up. He will screw it
But
up
you're
every
right,
level
but
of the
he's
way.
but he's an Inspector Gadget in the sense that he really doesn't have a plan and he bumbles his way, but he lands on his feet a lot of the times. So you and I might say
he lands on the
idiot.
feet at 31%. You have 30. Listen, Trump could kill their mother, and they're still going to vote for him.
Right.
I mean, so that 31% is not going to change. That's landed on your feet.
All right, so let's
that
ask a question.
31% won't change.
Let's ask a question. I saw we had over 100 people viewing, watching at one point. How many of those people, I'd like to know, are registered to vote? How many of us are you registered to vote?
Yes.
You're
registered to vote.
Registered to vote.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got 25 days.
But you see, downtown, the thing about the voting problem is just like, New York, New Jersey. We know the outcome is already. We know Biden is going to get that vote. What we're worried about is Ohio. We're worried about Arizona.
Win? We're
worried about Pennsylvania.
You really think that Biden is going to win, bro? You really think that?
Biden has a 16-point lead.
Here.
But unless there's an act of God or extreme cheating.
That's what
cheating.
That's what Hillary folks said.
No. This is totally different.
It's not.
This is totally. There is no James Comey coming to rescue Trump in the 11th hour. There is not going to be no bombshell on Biden in the 11th hour like they did on Hillary. And then Hillary just doesn't. Hillary had built in. You see, there's a sexism factor with Hillary. There were men that just were never going to vote for Hillary because she was a woman. They were just period. They were just not.
So you think it was
Biden has overcome a lot of places where Hillary hit roadblocks. Right? Biden doesn't have those roadblocks. These women that are moving away from Trump have no problem moving to Biden. He's a white man, a 70-year-old white man from Pennsylvania, from Scranton, Pennsylvania.
You're going to be so disappointed on November 4th. I'm telling you.
There is no way Trump. There's nothing there. He's not winning in anything. Everything he has done has failed. This whole he goes to Walter Reed.
That doesn't matter to his base.
Do you know he got enough of them?
Do you know he looks like a god now coming out, Walter Reed, walking up the steps and ripping? No, not to us.
He ain't got enough of them, Peter.
I'm talking about his base.
He doesn't have enough of them, and it's
whether or not. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? We looked at it as corny and ridiculous.
No, let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you something. Yeah, America, but his base hero worships. America hero worships.
Absolutely.
Right? The minute Fox News turns on Trump, he's completely toast. Because those people are more connected to Fox than they are to Trump. Yeah, and they're only on Trump because Fox is supporting him. And once Fox knows he's going to lose, and they know that he's going to lose, they're starting to pull away. Did you see what they allowed Pete Buttigieg to do to Trump yesterday?
No.
You got to watch the Pete Buttigieg interview on Fox yesterday when he was analyzing.
Again. Say it again.
Booty good.
I have a friend. I'm not even gonna go there with y'all today. We're not doing those jokes. But the fact that Pete Buttigieg crushed Trump because he said, they were trying to talk about Kamala, and he was just like, listen, if Pence wants to talk this religious stuff, but he wants to associate himself with a man that pays porn stars, what kind of credibility?
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry, I was responding to a text.
Basically, it was just saying that they have no pot to piss in because the man that they're worshiping, these religious conservatives, are following an immoral man, a man that pays porn stars to have sex while his wife is at home taking care of his son. They don't have a pot to piss in when it comes to morality. All right,
so America have a pot to piss in when it comes to morality, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but Fox News doesn't allow you to come out and say those kind of things on their network.
All right, so
it's pro-Republican all the time. Like I said, it's not news; it's opinion.
All right, so why don't we do this, Bob? Why don't we have no money? Let's have a friendly bet. So, like the next show after the election, I'll either cut off my hair, which I ain't gonna do.
No. The show after the election, we're gonna have a whole different conversation because here's what's gonna happen. I don't know if you all have heard of this group called the Patriot Women. So right now you have a lot of people applying for gun licenses. And in the state of New York and New Jersey, gun licenses for women are up 40%. There is a patriot women group, they don't look like me, of women who are buying guns.
What's so hard about saying they're white?
Because if they don't look like me, then you know what.
Just say they're white. Why is it so hard to say that?
Articulate the way you want to.
All right, you're right. I'm sorry. I can't tell a woman how to talk.
No, and I'm gonna grab some of that air the comedian was talking about with Kamala Harris. But no, so these women are buying automatic weapons at alarming rates. Training for how to use guns are up at an alarming rate.
As they
but
should.
These people, no,
white
but
women,
it's not us.
as they should.
These
you want to get killed?
Yeah, these people.
They're coming for your ass, you know.
Hello.
As we all should. That's why I say that.
And you're Jamaican colors.
Can I finish my?
I'm sorry.
Producer, can you turn off their mics? Anyway, what the point that I was making is that on November 4th, Trump has already set in play for months that there's fraud, that there's a high risk of invalid votes with the mail-in. He's asked his poll watchers to go in and be present when these votes are done, so that on November 4th, if he is not elected, these militia types, the male groups that I've seen, these patriot women, they are prepared with she's talking to you. They're prepared with their guns to defend themselves if they feel that they're losing their country. Jameson. And you have to come on camera and deliver it.
Yes, no hiding.
You have to come on camera and deliver it when it's
all right. So you're that's speculation. That's fear-based.
It's not speculation.
It's not speculation.
It's not speculation. It is a fact.
It's real deal.
On November 4th or November 5th, the morning after, if Trump, let's say when we win, because I believe in positive affirmations, when we win, all of that was white militia, the patriot women, all of those Trump supporters are going to be pissed as hell. And they're going to pick up their guns and stand their ground, and they're going to scream this fraud. And whatever those towns are, Utah, Detroit, all these places where they're already having riots, Portland, it's going to be chaotic. If on November 4th, that orange-haired guy wins, right? You're going to have people like me pissed saying, no way, he stole it. So no matter what happens on the 5th, it's going to be a zoo.
Absolutely, and that's why I plan on leaving the country.
Come on. You got us.
I myself, thank you, my dear. The waitresses here are awesome.
Why you change the camera?
I myself, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Do you understand that?
We
I
know.
want the system to implode. I want it gone.
But
so I don't care. Can I talk? I don't care who pops it off. I want it to hurry up and pop off. I saw what you said last week with David. David, what's up, brother? You did a good job last week. I saw what you said with David. You were talking about, well, we're not the ones that selling each other bullets. We're not the ones that own the guns and the ammunition, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's even more reason for it to pop off. Are you okay with that? Do you know exactly why they hoard weapons? Wait. Do you know exactly why they teach their children how to hold a weapon at 5?
Yes,
do you know exactly why they don't sell us bullets?
Why?
Because they know that with all the horrors, the dehumanization, the murder, the rape, everything that they've done to us for 400 years, they know that they should wake up the next one morning and see us standing outside their bedroom.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
And they know that we would be rightful if we did that. Okay. And so they make sure that they arm themselves to the tooth. Now, what I'm saying to you is, do you want? They're not selling us the guns. We don't have control over the bullets. Do you want to continue like that? Do you want the norm to continue? Peter. Right. And the norm is
Peter. I just have one question to ask you.
Go ahead.
November 5th, Trump loses.
Yeah.
Your neighbor comes to your front door, knocks on your door, and shoots you dead. Are you okay with that?
It is what it. Listen, it is what I had fun in my life. It is what it is. But what I'm saying to you is,
Peter,
listen.
That is a ridiculous.
No. It's not ridiculous. We cling on to life.
I'm not okay with that.
I'm not.
And because he won, they're gonna shoot me.
No, and they
stopped. If he loses, they might shoot me.
No. And
I said Trump loses.
He said he loses. And they've halted the process for the gun application in the state of New York. And in other states, you can apply, you maybe can get approved. They are not selling Go ahead, girl. We still going to see you. You can go through that. They're not selling bullets. That was Ti, you guys. Isn't she beautiful?
Okay, so I was on the point of for the show, right? Having a friendly bet before you started talking about the women of the Confederates, some shit, right?
Patriotic women, yeah.
Right. And so I would like to do a friendly wager. Now, I'm not rooting for Trump, and I want you just like you don't understand that, and I don't want the people to think that I'm here vouching. I am not. I'm just saying that
what you're vouching for the end of the status quo.
Yes.
And what I'm saying is that Rome was not built in a day. So we have a clash of two philosophical ideals. You're thinking
when you say Rome was not built in a day, what are you saying? That
what
America
I'm saying,
hasn't had enough time to get her shit.
What I'm saying is
the
process of change does not happen overnight. It's over a series of time.
But you want to build off of a foundation of white supremacy, and
I'm not. No, I'm not.
That is impossible.
How are we going to build when someone is sitting there saying that white supremacy has to come down? That same person cannot be propping it up. And this is what I'm saying. If we do our job of holding the man accountable to what he has clearly said, which is America needs to end this, and his platform running is America has to end this, because look at where it has brought us. Caging kids, the fact that no one trusts the COVID response.
America has never stopped caging kids since we've been on the auction block.
Listen, this is
just because it made news at the borders doesn't mean that they weren't doing it for 400 years.
This is where it's brought us, and he's verbalizing the fact that white supremacy has to end.
And you're falling for it?
Why not?
He never said white supremacy. When did Joe Biden mention white supremacy?
I'll show the clips next
week.
He's
never mentioned white supremacy.
Yes,
he has.
Yes, he has.
And he says it has to end
straight up.
And that's why it was.
I gotta see that.
That's why it was
I will post it on your page.
Part of the questionnaire during
that's the issue of the day.
Election.
He doesn't mean
it's not an issue of the day. He's campaigning on this. So that's what I'm saying. That. Listen, I don't need to see any more bloodshed. We've already lost 200,000 people behind this man's foolishness. Behind this man's foolishness, we don't need to lose another 200,000 fighting a war against these same foolish people.
Yeah, because while we're fighting the war, we're still fighting a war with each other.
So you want your very lovely, very smart, very beautiful children to inherit America such that as it
no. I don't have plans for America like that. I just don't. I'm not invested like that.
I'm not invested. So you want to argue with me and then get the fuck out.
I told you I'm not invested. Listen, I'm not.
Why do I show up?
I'm not. I mean, listen, we're smart people. We have to start thinking intellectually. We have to start thinking smart. We have to start thinking where are we better off? I look at a continent rich in resources, rich in minerals, rich in the ability to cultivate.
Yeah,
I'm out, brother.
Rich in opportunity
as well.
Rich in, like I said, I'm looking to pivot elsewhere. What do we have here left?
There's nothing for us.
There's nothing here. There's nothing here.
So why not?
Why
not allow it to implode?
And like I will. But what I said is
we need to stay out of their business and let it do
it. You still need a bridge. If you want to cross the river, you need a bridge.
We need to stay out of their business. The business at hand has never worked for us. Okay.
You have to have it work.
We need to leave. You
have to have it work.
It's gonna implode. No matter what you sit here and tell me, America is on its way out.
Let me explain to you. When the Jews had the Holocaust. Right,
I gotta hear this.
When they had that horrible thing that happened to them,
right,
they came together and said, "You know what? We're gonna become an unstoppable force, and we're gonna hold the hand of Israel. We're gonna ask the world to give us a land called Israel. That's gonna be our base,
right?
And we're gonna spread throughout the world, but we're gonna hold that place like this
for sure,
no matter where they are,
right."
Whatever community they go into, they're together.
For sure.
They build, they network, they pool their resources, right? They didn't try to destroy America. They didn't blow America up. They didn't hold America hostage.
They
used their intellect, and they made plans and they made decisions. Why can't we do the same? We don't need to burn the country down
because
to get what we want.
Right,
we just have to come together and come with a plan. They have a plan.
Europe, Germany, France, all of Europe, England, plus America was willing to recognize them as a people.
But they had to come together to make to make the request even. We are not even coming together to make that request.
So let me just say this. All of the nations recognize them as a legitimate people, as a people with a homeland, as a people with a birthright.
Black Lives Matter.
We have not been recognized as such.
Black Lives Matter.
So when they were given reparations, right? Reparations.
Black Lives Matter.
Reparations worked for them because they already had financial vehicles and conduits set up to make that money flip for generations. We don't have that. And so even if we got reparations, it would go right back to the same people that has been oppressing us for years.
They did not send stimulus checks to only Jewish people in the Jewish community. That's not how they got their reparations.
What are we doing? We're jumping.
No, you're saying reparations. Black Lives Matter has collected over $1 billion in money. What are they doing with that?
I don't speak for Black Lives Matter.
No, but that's what I'm trying to explain. I'm trying to draw a comparison. What I'm saying is, that's an organization run by them. What do you expect? These people put a plan in place for which which worked and they will succeed. We need to come together and put our own plan in place. And what I'm saying is let me land. What I'm saying is, if we put a plan, you can clearly see if Black Lives Matter can raise $1 billion for what I don't know, because I haven't seen any of that money in our community doing anything. Why can't we as a people raise? You don't think the NFL can give us money? MLB can? There are people willing to give you money. They're not going to write you each individual a check for $1,000 or $10,000. But there's ways to get money. But you have to organize and be smart about it. Absolutely. And we're not willing to do that. And I'm not looking to blow up and go to war with people when I have a brain. And I'm saying, let's use our brains rather than trying to fight our way through. And our brain that we can't win. Participating in the same system that got us there. That is not it. That is not it.
Do you know that much of the Jewish plan that they were able to catapult off is based on our oppression?
You can walk and chew gum. We can have our plan and still vote.
That's true. I don't get it, but okay.
We can have our plan and still vote.
Okay, so what about November 5th? That Thursday. What about that?
We have voted. Our guy won.
No, we're voting on the 4th, and
voting on the 3rd.
On the 3rd, and then
our people won on the 4th.
Well, no,
I'm wearing my Howard University shirt. Yeah, I got a vice president in the White House.
But on the 4th, we won't have an answer because we won't have the mail-in votes tallied by them.
Don't you listen.
Remember,
you know what you can't. You see. This is the problem. This is the problem with y'all people. You cannot allow a gangster like Trump to have his way. America is always known by midnight who the president. Don't let this nigga tell you you're not going to have an answer this year. No, you're going to have an answer. We're going to have an answer.
I believe we will have an answer.
We're going to have an answer. And it ain't going to be you, bro.
But why do you? America's built
on
gangster.
We allow these criminals and crooks to dictate the narrative.
This is our legacy.
Why?
Americans, because this is how.
Don't allow that shit. Don't. You gotta know. You gotta be naive. I'm not being naive. No, I'm saying that we have to stop. Don't allow him to do that.
This election is also very different when it comes to the mail-in votes, right? So Trump put his homeboy into the postal system. The mail is already slow as I don't know what, right? So you have it really is. You have people who are mailing in their votes. Who knows how long that's going to take? Then you also have those rollbacks where states have gone in and looked at registrations, and if you haven't voted in X amount of time or whatever criteria they're using, they're canceling registrations. So people are going to literally show up because they're not doing their
voter suppression is nothing new.
Diligence now. They're going to literally show up. But in some states, it's saying something like 200,000 registrations have been rolled back. right? It's so big that I've never watched Blackish before. I watched it on Monday, and they had 2 episodes. One that was in a cartoon form, dedicated to understanding what voting really is. The right to
Donnatella,
vote.
it's very simple. People have to make a decision. I'm either
Agreed.
gonna mail in my votes, or I'm gonna get online and go vote.
Yeah, but you
Enough. Let's stop playing this game with them.
That's true.
Let's
but
stop playing this game with them. The more we play into this nonsense, the more we're gonna allow chaos.
Yeah, but you got to tell people. People have got to know the deadlines. You got to register by October 9th. You got to get your vote in early.
That's what we got to do then. But this, well, let's not allow this chaos. Let's not allow this thing to be dragged for no freaking reason. This is not a close election. This guy is losing. He's losing his ass.
Okay, do you understand, Bob and Donna, that there are a lot of people who think like me, right?
Like you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Worse.
And for those people who do think like me, as far as black folks that think like me, that want us to remove ourselves from the fuckery in America and stay out of their business, right? That if we are the millions of that feel this way, that if we are forced to vote, like as you would have us do, we're not voting for your guy.
We don't give a fuck. It ain't enough of y'all.
Now that's not. Wait. No, that's not a problem.
That
Listen.
is the problem.
No, it's not a problem.
You know what?
Is the problem.
The people that won't
like
vote.
him are saying. So I know some 30-something-year-old black males from New York who now reside in Atlanta, who, when I talk to them, frustrate me so much because they consistently talk about how, poor people never got money until Trump. Trump made sure the poor people had money.
Let me
These
explain.
are people who
and this is what I'm saying. It's time. Listen, we can't walk in begging these Negroes.
But you have
listen.
You rather beg Joe.
No.
You don't want to beg Negroes.
No, I ain't begging these Negroes.
You're begging
It ain't
Joe.
enough for y'all. That's what I say. It ain't enough for y'all. Go ahead, go vote.
It is enough.
It ain't.
It is enough for us to mess your play up.
2%. Go ahead, do it.
Split the vote.
No, they will not.
Let's
They
make a
ain't.
friendly bet.
Listen,
Let's make a friendly bet.
they are not. Donatella,
You're a betting man.
it is not. It's black people are 13% of this country.
You gotta
No,
remember
why?
Right? If all of
us
us with our heads fixed on properly go out and do what we're supposed to do, these fringe guys are irrelevant.
But you see
They're irrelevant.
You see where your head is, Bob?
And that's where we need to let them know. We're giving them too much power.
No.
They are too much.
Bob.
They are too small a minority to be walking around with their hair like that. Screw you.
we'll mess your thing.
Go vote for him. That's what I'm saying.
it up.
Go vote for him.
Okay.
You're still gonna lose.
Okay, listen.
And I'm gonna dance on y'all.
Okay, listen.
November 4th.
You see where your mind is? You say that America is 13% black, right? 1865, when slavery was abolished, that's what they said we were. 13% of the American population. Don't cut me off. You didn't do it to the brothers last week, right? 13% of the population. Do you mean to tell me in the year 2020 we have not grown past 13% of this population? See, this is what I'm saying. You want to believe
you gotta count the ones who can't vote, the ones who are dead, the ones who
No.
But I get what you're saying.
13. He said 13%.
Right.
We are the ones procreating more than any other race, and you still believe the rhetoric. You still believe the rhetoric that we're 13%.
Peter, what I believe that there are people.
Your believability of what's going on is skewed, and you want to hold on to the status quo. You want to hold on to what our mothers held on, what our grandmother. You want things to get back to normal.
No, what I don't want is Trump.
And I don't see it.
No, I don't want Trump. I'm tired. I'm tired of watching breaking news on my TV 24/7 because this man it goes from vile to viler every day. I am tired. I want a sense of normalcy. I want a sense of peace.
How do we go back to breaking
I'm
news
exhausted.
every 2 days?
I'm exhausted. I'm on drugs now because of this guy. I want to get off of it.
Speaking of drugs,
I don't care what I don't care. But I'm tired of them. I'm tired of them and their shit. Stephen King, all of them. Ivana, Ivanka, all of them. I'm done with them.
I feel sorry for
It's
you guys.
enough.
You know why?
It's enough. And anyone that wants to support them, I want you guys to wear it like a badge.
No.
So we can come for you November 5th.
I feel sorry because
and give y'all the big L on the face. No, listen, you guys lost. Y'all and y'all got no right to say nothing.
Don't say y'all like I'm part of their team.
I am not. No, you go. No, but that's what. See, I'm gonna push you to that side, so you're gonna say, "I'm a vote."
No, I'm not over here.
Did you guys miss this? I missed this.
No, listen,
I'm gonna vote for him.
Let me ask y'all a question. I understand that because you know why? There are a lot of people who are just tired. With the COVID, with the uncertainty, with his behavior, it's a lot, and it's hurt. It hurts. But I'm telling you that the way the things are happening, you're gonna be. I feel bad for you guys.
There's nothing. Peter,
There's
nothing
going
right for him.
We have some comments on
Facebook
and YouTube. Salah, is that how you say that? Salah Aldin says in America the percentage doesn't matter. I guess he's referring to the electoral votes.
Yeah. Well, what does he say there?
Well, he's talking about the argument that we're saying.
Salah, you need to expound on your idea a little bit more.
But let me
so we can understand exactly what you're saying.
He's upset.
In America, we do not vote for the president. We vote for a government elected person that may Bob.
Whatever it is, bro.
No, that may or may not vote for the person we want.
And I'm gonna do my part.
And
I'm gonna do my part to make sure. I'm gonna do my part.
We're not voting for the president. And there's nothing that guarantees the people that are going to speak for us are really going to speak for us. But that's what you want. You want that shit to continue, right?
It has to. There's nothing you can do to stop it. Voting for Trump does not stop it. Do you get that? Do you understand that?
Do
you understand that? No. But that is the only option. You either are or you aren't. So you want to bring all of that shit up? That's fine. But how do you stop that? It's not going to stop.
Somebody said Bub is talking that real shit with a.
It's not going to stop. But it's not going to stop. We're still going to have the electoral shit. We're still going to have more Republican judges. But they're not going to stop. So why do we stop? Why do we stop using the only tool we have when they're not going to stop?
Okay.
Because we need.
You're giving up. Okay, you're losing the war.
I'm not giving up. I just understand, and I read, and I know my history, and at some point, the powers that are in charge knew that because we are positively procreating and they are not. They knew that at some point, listen to me, if they left it as one man, one vote, that black people were going to be the ones that decide all the elections, both locally and nationally.
Right.
And so they had to deter that, and that's why they invented the Electoral College. Now, what Electoral College was created for was to steal your voice, your mama's voice, your children's voice, and you want to go back to that. What I'm saying to you, please, can I talk? What I am saying to you is that's a norm that I don't want no more of. If you're tired and fed up,
what is your way? Peter, what is your way of this
revolution?
Electoral
revolution. Get rid of it. Just get rid of it all.
So
how do we do that? How do we do that?
I'll tell you.
Hold on.
If y'all stop beating up on me,
go ahead. How do we do
that? Black people have the most relevant opportunity to gain that elusive freedom.
To destroy the Electoral College.
To gain that elusive freedom that has been so fleeting for us for all these years. We are at a point where if we stick together and stop engaging in their politics, that if we did and had group economics, we don't need them.
Yeah, but we're not that together as a community.
We don't,
because while they're killing us,
you know what the problem is? I'm going to tell you what the problem is. I'm going to tell you what the problem is. You don't travel to South Carolina, to Virginia, to other part. You're two in the Northeast.
South and Virginia, bro.
You don't understand the kind of how black people think in other parts of America.
Okay, you say that why?
They are so far removed from the knowledge and understanding you have about the entire system that you want to abolish. And I'm not disagreeing that the system is rigged and is corrupt, but millions and millions of people of color do not even understand what the fuck you're talking about.
I know that.
So you're not even what you're saying is completely not on their radar.
No, it's not. It's not.
It is completely not on their radar.
No, it's not.
So what you're proposing
you're using the
is
same
literally
ideology as
impossible.
You're looking down on your people.
I'm not looking
You
down.
are.
I'm saying is I've been to Mississippi. I know. I see what the folks in Mississippi are doing.
Ignorant of that. Yes, they are. I'm agreeing with you. A lot of them are
So how are you going to abolish it?
What I'm saying.
What are you going to do in Mississippi?
What I'm saying.
What are you going to do, black people in Mississippi?
They're going to do and go along with what has to happen.
They're going to follow you?
No.
You ain't been to Mississippi.
No, they don't. No.
They'll call your nigga to your face.
No, listen to me.
Tell you they're going to follow their white man.
I'm on a more spiritual level, Bubby, and you're not with me. And what I'm saying to you is, it is black people's time, and they don't have to have the education that was kept from them to be great. Do you understand? All they have to do is just stay away from the bullshit and let them do what they do and let them burn themselves.
Right. Well, they can do that, but they can do that.
You don't need a degree for that.
No, they can do that after they vote.
They still got to go to the grocery store. They're still going to get stopped by the cops. They're still going to get murked.
Right.
Yep.
Because
all right.
And
so there's no such thing as us divesting out of the system. We don't get to divest out the system. Because once you get in your car, you go down. Even you walking down the street, you're in the system. As long as you're in this country, you're in the system. So you don't get to say, "I'm not a participant."
No.
Because at any time you get pulled over.
Producer, can you put up that comment, please, from Salah? I know we have guests inside the restaurant.
Let's see what they're saying.
They're enjoying our banter.
Yeah.
Producer friend. Can you put up Salah's comment? Oh, thanks. Whoever determines who wins the elections are the representatives of the states. Yeah, that's the electoral vote. Electoral college. We know that. Okay, so we can have this discussion forever. It's almost 7:00. I have to talk to our guest about my crazy weekend where I almost died.
You don't have to
on Friday. I do, because I feel like besides exposing people to great music, talking about what's pertinent in our community, and talking about the vote and the fly on his head,
should keep arguing.
Friday night, I literally almost died, and I feel like somebody needs to know about that. So on Friday, I'm not going to say where it came from, but I was a victim of just being comfortable in my skin around people that I know. And so I tried an edible, but I tried two. So I'm 5'8" and I weigh about 130 something pounds.
What are edibles again?
So, I wasn't really quite sure. I'd had one before in 2014, a chocolate bar. It didn't go well then. But I don't really know. A friend of mine was sitting, opened up a container. I was like, "Hey there, what you doing?" Oh,
okay. Do you realize
I'm gonna eat some weed?
All right.
Okay. You abandoned us, so you weren't here, right, to protect me. So my friend takes one, and then I was like, "Oh, it's pretty. It's pink. It's like this big." I was like, "Oh, give me one." Popped it in my mouth. It tastes like liquid sugar.
Good, huh?
Oh my goodness, it was so good. I was like, "Oh,
that's another one, huh?"
Let me get another one. So
that's on you, right?
I do, but as a person who loves my people and who's always forthcoming, I feel like if I talk about this, I could save someone else from the experience.
So is it a known thing that you should only have one?
No. So what I found out when I shared this on my Snapchat, I shared it on my WhatsApp. The first thing an uneducated person like myself needs to understand is that there are different types of highs when you're using this stuff, right? And so smoking is one type of high, which smoking weed.
Oh, okay.
Smoking weed is one type of high, which typically, I guess, just affects your head. This is my understanding. But that burger really does look good, that salmon burger. We're live in Amarachi. I'm kind of having ADD.
I can't wait for this. I'm hungry.
But anyway, right? But a edible, which is an ingestion that goes into your body and directly into your bloodstream, and literally that edible did this to my body. It went to my fingertips. It went down my legs. It was in my nice little wig prepared by Paul. And, I didn't feel anything. And so, I totally, because it's not in my normal habit, forgot that I'd even had it until my body started to get hot. And so,
you sure that wasn't menopause? That was
no, it wasn't menopause, right?
I got the finger live.
Sorry, TV.
I hope your dad is watching.
I don't, Dad. I'm sorry, or my mom. But anyway, right? So I started getting warm. So I went and sat down. I actually sat down over there on the sofa, right? And so I said, well, let me get some water. I drank some water, didn't work. And then, the first reaction was, I need to go home. I don't feel good. So I went and sat in my car. But before I sat down, I opened the door. And when I sat down, I felt like I went to the middle of the earth because my car is kind of low, right? And at that point, it was just absolutely crazy.
So is this a PSA? Are you warning? What's the goal here?
I'm just saying.
What's your end game?
I know we're over like our little 2 hours now.
What's your end game?
There are mistakes. They still want to talk about the electoral votes.
I told you not to talk about edibles.
Listen. We have to gauge our only female co-host.
She want to talk.
She want to talk.
She has it's a free country. We're not being chauvinistic.
Right? We're not misogynist.
Talk about your edibles.
Over our 2 hours.
So, like Peter said, are you promoting it?
No, I'm not.
Are you
I'm
not
saying,
promoting it?
No, what I'm saying to people is that beware of edibles. I literally thought I was dying. And I went to the emergency room.
Just to piggyback off what you're saying, there are a lot of people that use it, and it's fascinating. People like me and you may be scared of edibles, but there are people that welcome it. Like they want, you got a good one? Let me, So it's just interesting how human beings react to these
I get
things.
mine from somebody I trust, and and of course, and I only use it like if I'm having trouble sleeping, because if you take it right before bed, it's a beautiful thing. Like if
eat a whole one?
Absolutely, you take it right before bed, and
people on my WhatsApp
you wake
were
up
like they were in the hospital.
You wake up so well. I don't know, because there's not everybody you can trust. I say you get it from somebody you trust, and boys and girls. Boys and girls, if you do take it, try it at home. Don't be out on
don't be outside
experimenting. Okay, that's the word of the day.
I think the trouble was you weren't at home and you weren't about to go to bed.
Right.
You were actually live on TV.
Someone else told me you're supposed to take it before you have a sexual encounter. And all I can think of Friday
I don't know about
if
that one.
I was having a sexual encounter when I was on those pills, I would have murdered whoever the person was.
Pretty much.
I would have literally.
I think you do that anyway. So, all right, listen. We had a great show.
We had a wonderful show. This government keeps giving us incredible content, and we'll be back next week.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Your last words.
Remember to like, share, comment, follow us on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever else we are, Instagram,
Twitch.
We're all over the place. And to come in and dine in, make sure you go through the COVID procedure. And you need to do this soon, because at the rate that it's going, they're about to lock us down.
We didn't even talk about that with the Hasidic community and
There's
what's
so much
going on.
Listen, we may need a 3-hour show next week.
Last night they were screaming Jewish Lives Matter.
Yeah, listen.
At the protest.
Yeah.
And some of them,
to mention about the protests.
Some of them had on masks.
It's not just that, but what I actually met some of the protesters. I was driving by the area, and for whatever reason, they approached me. A couple guys approached me, and
they approached you.
They approached me. Seriously, they approached me, and hey, what's all? You know how they do. And
that's your Yiddish accent.
You like Trump, and of course I was like, no, I don't like Trump, and it was like, I told them why.
Did they have masks?
It was on their throat, they weren't walking. They were like high. Either they were drinking or I would hope that they were high. Let's say like
They're
that.
not as pious as they.
Yeah, they were. They were on something.
They have kosher wine.
But they were on their way to this march and protest, and they had their flags pro-Trump 2020. Like, absolutely.
Them. I'm not talking.
No. Absolutely, they love Trump. He works for them
because he's an anti-masker, and he works for them.
He works for them. And their whole thing is about their freedom, and anyone that impedes on their spiritual or religious rights is an enemy.
We
and
should. It
doesn't matter what Trump does.
We should take a page out of their book. Is all I'm saying.
It doesn't matter what Trump does. He's their homeboy, and they didn't have a violent outburst at me because I didn't like Trump. They were just like, oh, okay, I understand, as opposed to some other people.
The ones in the protests who were setting fires and fighting, they beat somebody.
No, well, when they're around, it was just two of them that came. I mean, when you got 100 of them in the circle,
Jack and somebody.
They had the NYPD had to put whoever was in the middle of that protest last night in the black hoodie. They had to put the person in a sheriff's car for their own safety. Because they were kicking that person's butt.
And no arrests were made, no fouls, no charges filed. I mean, and that's why I posed. I said, this is what power looks like. These guys, then you can't mess with them.
No. They also have a huge sense of
you can't mess with them.
No, but
it's because of their sense of community and unity. They police themselves. And they take care of themselves. Economics. They do their thing together. So you can't come in there and do anything.
You can, but you won't. You won't be able to stay for
you. Friend who converted to Judaism. Is that how you say it?
Judaism.
And he was the victim of a violent crime. And right now, if you go to Nostra and Avenue L,
the liquor store.
Yusa.
He was a good dude.
Yeah, he was. This is my very good friend. I knew him ever since he was 17. They named the street after him. But what I respected about that community is that when he was shot, in their culture, their religion, they opened the synagogues up to non-Jews. So it was Jamaicans and everything for his funeral. They flew his body to Jamaica. They gave him an Orthodox Jewish burial.
They take care of their own.
But at the I guess the ceremony for his funeral, they gave NYPD 3 days to find the person that
responsible
that murdered him. Because in their religion, if you are the victim of a crime and you're murdered, there's a special name they attach to the end of your name, and you can't really go on to whatever the next place
until you're released.
And in their culture, they also believe in vigilantism, right?
Sure.
And so they said to members of city council, to the NYPD who were present at my friend's funeral, that if you don't find this person, we believe that we should take to the streets and we should find this person, and the person should be held guilty in the same manner as our brother. And if you can imagine a bunch of Jamaicans hearing that in his funeral and just went off, because they were literally saying, if you don't get this guy, we're gonna get him. We're gonna kill him. And within three days, they found that guy.
Of course, listen. Of course.
And it was somebody who was
I just don't. I don't get into like hating one group. Like, you gotta respect Jewish people. Anyone that and everything they do is all I want Black people to do.
Right.
Love your culture. Don't take on some foreign identity and foreign, everything and try to live out of this other reality. They live within their reality and make it work for them.
Make it work.
And they create their own laws to work for them. They have their language that every one of their children understands and speak. There's nothing to, listen, look, they can be your ally. There's nothing to be afraid of them. They didn't do nothing to you. They're just doing for themselves.
They'll never ally with us.
Yeah. Thank you, Salah.
They can't.
They'll never ally with us.
What I'm saying is
success is built on
when I say ally, what I'm saying is, if you're in business, right? You can have a relationship in business with them. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Only if they're
Look,
No.
but yes, you can. Let me tell you.
You
Let me tell you
cannot.
something.
I've been-
Let me explain something
cannot.
to you. Right, as a business owner, a Jewish person will lend you money before a white person lends you
Absolutely.
money. So what are you talking about?
At what
So-
rate? At what?
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It doesn't matter because you're never afforded the opportunity to even live your
To get
dream.
the money. Yeah.
If you don't
You can't
have the opportunity to get that money, you don't get to have your dream.
I do construction in New York.
I'm
You
talking
don't think- you don't
literally.
think-
I'm talking generally
I know.
speaking. If a person's gonna say, I'm fucking not giving you that money, I don't care. As opposed to, I'll give you the money, but I want 12% back.
Okay, all right. So
What's the problem?
long term,
At
over
least
the course,
he gave you
at least he gave me
the
the money.
opportunity.
Right.
All right. Can
So we're gonna wrap up the
yeah.
show because our viewers are also wrapping it up.
It seems. It looks like it.
Yeah, we went from 100.
Hey, we're past 2 hours, man. You know,
Yeah,
what do you
I
think?
know.
Let's do it.
And I'm tired. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week. Our producer, you're gonna let us know when we're offline.
Nasir.
Thank you so much, Nasir, for a great show. Thank you, everyone. Remember to like, and that young man deserves a margarita named after him.
Who?
Mr. Margarita.
Mr. Margarita.
All right. Good night, everyone. Let's go. I'm hungry.